Scott Greiper, the president of Viridian Capital, a firm that specializes in the cannabis sector. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So your firm is hosting the first ever cannabis investment seminar here in New York at the Javits Center on June 18th. So what's your advice to retail investors who want in on the cannabis space?
Be careful, do your homework, probably do a little bit more diligence than you might on other sectors, because while this sector has fascinating opportunity and just tremendous upside very early in the evolution, there are risks that are very specific to this industry.
Yeah, and what publicly traded companies do you like in this sector that could see some benefit as politicians and citizens become more open to the idea of marijuana legalization?
Sure. Well, we break down the overall publicly traded industry in cannabis to 11 different sectors, because it's not a homogeneous sector. There's real differentiation. So we like the lighting sector, the people that are providing these very advanced lights that help these plants grow more optimally, more quickly, more healthy, less water, less power requirements. So a company we like in the sector is called Heliospectra. For disclosure, it's a client of ours. Stock trades HLSPY. And what we like very much about this, they've developed a patented technology that they can read how the plant absorbs different spectra of the light so that they can actually control the rate of growth.
What other names?
Another name that we like is CannapharmaRx on the biotech side. The biotech side in medical marijuana is very significant. It's like where pharma was 30 years ago. So CannapharmaRx, a company that trades CPMD, also full disclosure, a client of ours, is a company that we think is developing really interesting positioning in the industry.
All right, and the Viridian Cannabis Index, which tracks 75 of these companies that are somehow related to cannabis, that's returned 38% last year. Give us a sense of how it's doing this year and where you see it going.
Through Q1 of this year, we're up just over 23%. So we continue to show gains. We've shown gains for the last couple of years, beating every other indice. Again, there are pockets of growth and there are pockets of underperformance. And it's really important that investors be very discerning in which sectors and companies they invest in.
All right, but if you don't want to put your money in something that's only legal in 23 states, at least on the medical side, I mean, are there companies that are sort of peripherally related to cannabis, maybe on the tech side?
Absolutely. There are software companies in this industry, not public, by the way, that are tracking what's called seed to sale. So the government wants to make sure that the grower of the marijuana is licensed and only sells that product to a licensed dispensary. There's the biotech side that doesn't touch the plant, the lighting side, the consulting side. The security side is a very serious concern here because it's an all-cash business.
And what names do you like in those sectors?
A company we like on the security side is Security America, which is going to be coming public within the next 30 days. They have the largest market share of protecting several hundred dispensaries across the United States, both medical and legal.
And maybe there's a sector where you're not picking individual names, but maybe there's an exchange-traded fund as well?
You know, there's not an ETF in this sector yet. And certainly the performance of our sector and the recognition by Barron's and other people that we're the benchmark in the industry, we certainly hope to turn that into an ETF at some point in time. Ultimately, the liquidity of the underlying stocks in the index have to support a publicly traded exchange, and we think we'll be there by the end of the year.
All right, and tell us just real quick about this seminar on June 18th here in New York.
You know, one of the most fascinating parts about this industry is the opportunity to actually hold the first investment seminar in New York City. It's really quite fascinating how early we are.
What does that say about the interest in this cannabis investing space?
It's a push-pull. It's a pull because people have cannabis in their face, whether it's Sanjay Gupta at CNN or the New York Times writing on this for the last couple of years. It's in their awareness. But the institutional investment community, the private equity funds, the larger investment banks are not here yet because they're nervous from a reputation perspective because the drug is still federally illegal. So we jumped in, and the opportunity to actually hold the first investment seminar in New York City is very exciting.
All right, Scott Greiper, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Scott.